So I'm making this video here about, I want to call it life after layoff because there's a great YouTube channel about that. But over here, I've been laid off and I'm considering becoming a California CPA. My name is Bennett Tchaikovsky, and this is current as of March 2025. So my disclaimer and copyright notice, the information and opinions in this presentation are those of myself and not my employers or affiliated organizations, including but not limited to Irvine Valley College and the South Orange County Community College District. This presentation is for educational purposes only and does not constitute any legal or accounting advice whatsoever. Please note that the California Board of Accountancy has the final say as to whether or not a class meets a requirement. And also, possibly most importantly, there is an evolution going on where we're going to be going back in terms of the educational requirements. It hasn't been fully figured out yet, but it's looking like it's going to go back to 120 semester units with a certain number of units in business and in accounting. A little bit about me. I've been teaching at Irvine Valley College, or IVC, since August of 2014. I've taught at Cal State Fullerton, Chapman, Long Beach City College, and Pasadena City College. If you were a student in one of my classes, I want to give a shout out. Love to hear from you. I also went to Southwestern University School of Law. It's now called Southwestern Law School. Thank you, Camille Vasquez, for raising the roof. And I also was a business economics major at UC Santa Barbara. I worked at Coopers and Lybrand. That tells you I'm old man Bennett. Before going to law school. And then post-law school, I worked as an assistant controller, and a CFO for small to medium-sized publicly traded companies. And I've served as a board member for not-for-profits and publicly traded companies. So back in, thanks to the support of Rick Miranda, our vice president of instruction, and also my dean, Tracy Fahimi, they have been incredibly generous in terms of going through and supporting what is IVC 30 to CPA. If you are a student or if you're enrolled at Irvine Valley College or at Saddleback and you have an IVC or Saddleback email address, I can add you to this group. It's absolutely free if you're enrolled as a student. A couple things is that what does this group have? It's essentially, it's a campus group. There are resume samples. There are over 30 hours of interviews with recruiters. There are recruiting guidebooks. A lot of my videos and a lot of my other guides are basically put into like one place. And it's been very successful. I've had a lot of students who have used it. There are links to AI apps. It's pretty much, if you went to my YouTube channel and you put all those stuff together in one place, that's how you would kind of go through and find it. So, but again, I'm here to help you. So if there's anything that you do need, I'll give you links basically later on and how you can get in contact with me with questions about becoming a California CPA. So the reason why I'm doing this video is that I've had enough calls and emails back and forth with students or with professionals. We're in one of the most difficult economies right now. And I had a recruiter speak to one of my classes, and she came into my class and basically said, well, our summer 2026 internships are full, but we're going to be recruiting for summer 27 come in August of 25. So we're now literally, if you wanted to work for a Big Four accounting firm, you're about 2 years out. And for us, basically as a community college instructor, one of the things I'm really trying to help my students out with is basically, okay, I want to help you get a job, but if you're not looking while you're at school at Irvine Valley, it's going to be a tough ride. So it's one of those things where I would tell anybody who's in college right now, you want to make job seeking a absolute top priority. But even beyond this, though, I have been contacted by numerous viewers who have been kind of saying, hey, I got laid off. These other things happened, and it's absolutely crazy. And a lot of you want to kind of look to see like, okay, what do I need to do to become a CPA? And really what I'm kind of making this video for is just to kind of say, hey, these are generally the steps that you want to go through and take. Generally, to sit for the CPA exam, And if you want to become licensed in California, by the way, every state has their own licensing requirements. You do not need to be a resident of that state to become licensed in that state. Again, it depends on the state. But in California, you don't necessarily have to be. But in any event, what does it take to sit for and become licensed as a CPA? Where you're going to need a bachelor's degree within 6 months. If you already have it, it's great. You're going to need 24 semester units of accounting and 24 semester units of business. Now, here's where things get interesting. This is to sit. For licensure right now, it's another 30 semester units. And then you'd have a year of work experience, but that's going to probably more than likely change to be 2 years of work experience. Now, if they go to the bachelor's degree and they say, well, a bachelor's degree in accounting, well, look, the reality of it is, if I'm going to University of California, Irvine, getting into the one school where they offer upper division accounting courses is near next to impossible, right? So not everybody is going to have a bachelor's of science or a BA in accounting or BA in business administration with a focus on accounting. So more than likely what I envision the CBA doing is they're going to go say, all right, you need to have like 24 semester units of accounting and then some business units. So I think that they're going to kind of keep the existing model just because a lot of the community colleges offer more, in some instances, more core accounting courses than four-year universities. And of course, the fun part is passing the CPA exam, right? This is a huge hurdle to kind of go through and do. So if you are thinking about becoming a CPA, right, this is really for you and really the kind of the first step in terms of going through. And just remember, passing the CPA exam is rough. It is extremely challenging. It is doable. I've had a lot of students do it. But it's really going to take on your part, you're going to have to work pretty hard to go through and do it. But the first thing that you're going to want to go through and do if you're looking to become a CPA is you can send me an email, right? And what I will do is I will personalize this Google Sheet. I could basically come over here and just say Bennett Tchaikovsky to CPA. I'm going to make a copy of this. What I'm then going to go through and do is I'm going to share this with you. And I would basically put in like IVC32CPA at gmail.com. And then I would hit send. Okay, so it's going to be in the endless loop. You would come over here and I would say, okay, IVC, semester fall 20, or excuse me, spring 25, accounting 1A, financial accounting. And then this is going to be 4 units. And so you would list out every single course you've ever taken. And it doesn't matter if it's related to accounting or not, if it's on a community college, graduate, university, whatever transcript, it will go through and can be used. If you did your degree outside of the United States, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to come over here to use one of these agencies that has been approved by the California Board of Accountancy. They will approve your units here. But you're going to have to kind of go through and basically, kind of figure out like, how do you go through and, basically have them translate your units, right? You just kind of basically go through and save money. But again, it's because you don't want to go through and retake stuff. But again, that's going to be the first step that I need from you. If you send me a PDF of your transcript, I will be unable to help you. I do a lot of these mappings. So I do ask you, and I don't think it's too much of an ask, to take the time to list out everything. Once you do that, you email me back. So you email me at this address over here. I will then reply back to you with your customized Google Sheet. You then basically list out everything. If as a result of this video, 1,000 people contact me, I will be happy to do 1,000 of these. I can probably crank it out pretty quickly. Just because when I make the Google Sheets, not everybody necessarily is going to be replying back to me immediately because it takes some time, but you have to really be willing to do it. Now, if after the evaluation, so say if you're an English major, you were an education major, I have a student, which I'll probably be bringing on and doing an interview with at some point in time. She is in the process of becoming an enrolled agent. What is an enrolled agent? It is a designation given by the Internal Revenue Service. What does it enable you to do? Being an enrolled agent basically means that I can represent clients in front of the Internal Revenue Service. I can file tax returns. It's looked at the same as with a CPA, at least in the eyes of the IRS. And all you have to do is there's no educational requirement to become an enrolled agent, but you do need to pass 3 exams. And those are about 4 hours each, all multiple choice. For that, we have classes at Irvine Valley College that you can go through and take to basically get yourself prepared for these. So after I do your evaluation, we're going to kind of see like, what do you need to kind of go through and do? California community colleges, if you are a California resident, is one of the best possible options, is because we only charge $46 per unit. It is an absolute steal. Instructors at California community colleges are devoted to you, our students. I'm required to have 5 office hours per week. Usually end up talking with students a lot more than that, but we have like basically 5 office hours per week. I'm not required to publish, although my publishing tends to be more on YouTube. I'm not at a 4-year university where I have to publish or perish, right? I am here to help you. And so as we kind of go through and look at this, California community colleges can be a great option. Master's degrees, do I recommend this? Only in very particular situations. And this would be something like, oh, I got my degree in China and I want to work for a large accounting firm. Well, some accounting firms, I had a student who passed their CPA exams. They absolutely had no luck in terms of finding employment. So they basically they're in the process right now of finishing their master's degree at UCI. They're going to be working at a Big 4 firm come this fall. So I'm very excited for her. Very, very exciting. But again, it's one of those things that I generally don't recommend it because of the cost. If you look at a California community college, $46 a unit. I mean, if I'm taking 15 units, it's going to be under $1,000, right? So again, it's a great, great deal and one of the better benefits of being in our state. So when we're looking at accounting education, this is also something I get a lot from students, is that students say, oh my God, it's been so long since I've had my accounting education. And the thing that you have to remember is that when it comes to education, you're not dealing with you're not basically fighting against other students when it comes to the CPA exam. Rather, you're fighting basically with yourself. You're in a battle against yourself. And so this over here is UWorld CPA Review. It's one of the review courses. It's like Becker, it's like Ninja. But if I look at FAR, financial accounting and reporting, and I go through and I look at what is facing me, right? If I look at, hey, this is what I'm going to have to take to become a CPA, when I look at this, the majority of all of these topics that are here all come from intermediate accounting, right? So when I go over here and I'm kind of saying to you to work backwards, well, the CPA exam is going to require me to take FAR, financial accounting and reporting, auditing, or AUD, it's auditing and attestation. Reg is regulation, which is really taxation. And then there's going to be a pick your poison. There's TCP, tax compliance and planning, internal systems and controls, or I think it's also it's called. And then there's BAR, which is business analysis and reporting. So when you're looking at taking your classes, you shouldn't be like going, oh, like what's the easiest online I can do? Rather, what are going to be the most challenging courses for me to kind of go through and take? If you go through over here and you are looking at part of the other reason why this Google Sheet will also help you on over here on the resources, I have these video links, right? All these different ones that are over here, career focus, transfer focus, becoming a California CPA, right? So all of these different items here are really meant to help you basically further kind of like dive in to what needs to kind of go through and happen. Now, in terms of if it's been a while since you've had accounting, what I would want you to be going through and doing is to kind of come over here. And this is how I train my accounting 1A students. Is, and if you want to email me at the same email address, what I will do is I will send you these homework packets. What exactly does this? I sound like Jesse or I sound like Walter White? Not the case, right? Basically, what this is that these are roughly about, this packet here is about 30 pages. If you print this out and you work through the questions and the packets sequentially, right, going from chapters 1 and 2 to chapter 3. And I will also over here, I provide you a link to all of the solutions that are in the homework packet, right? So within this, there's also a video you can watch of me going through and walking you through it. So this is how you can relearn accounting. I wouldn't go and spend a lot of money on a master's degree without going through and spending this time first. There is something when you're learning accounting, and it's been proven, where if you take pencil or pen to paper and you're physically handwriting out the solutions, that's how you are going to learn how to do accounting. The way I go through and do it is really off of very specific building blocks, but using online platforms like Connect, like Wiley Plus, like, Cengage, all that other stuff, in my opinion, isn't good for learning accounting. Why is that? It's because when you handwrite it out, you're going to get a much deeper feel for it. And then when it comes to coming to the U World or to Becker, it's going to feel like CPA review instead of CPA brand new. So that's what we would be going through and doing. Next part over here that I would want you to do. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assess your education. You're going to send me over an email to ivc30tocpa@gmail.com. I will go through, map it out for you, tell you what you need to take. Then over here, it's figuring out, well, have I ever worked for in the past for somebody who is a licensed CPA? They don't need to be active now. They need to have been active when you were working for them, right? So if you were doing any type of accounting work or any type of business related work, it is incredibly vague, right? So, and when you look at, there probably may actually go through and to change it. But in terms of like going through and looking at the work experience requirement, if you look at the general experience, which is right over here, if you see this to be signed off, so I need a year or two of general experience or audit experience, very different, but I'm just kind of going over this one here for you now. General accounting experience may include providing any type of service or advice involving the use of accounting, auditing, compilation, management advisory or consulting, financial advisory or tax or consulting skills. To qualify, it must have been performed in accordance with applicable professional standards. Well, I don't know what exactly that means. Actually, I do. I can probably look it up, but it is very, very vague. And it's one of the things that most CPAs should be willing to sign off on this for you. Again, it's general experience. It is not audit experience. Attestation experience is incredibly specific. Like, you have to go through and do this. I have spoken with reviewers at the California Board of Accountancy. When they are reviewing this, they are taking an extremely hard look because you can sign off on attest engagements. It's a huge amount of liability to the public because you're essentially signing off on these different financial statements. So key thing is they don't have to be licensed now, but if they were licensed at the time you were working with them, again, if you have questions about this, feel free to basically reach out to me. Now, the final part of this is about employment, right? So you might be thinking right now, oh, I'm seeing all these jobs out there for becoming a CPA, and I want to get my license. So how am I going to go through and do it? So one of the things I have in IVC 30 to CPA is I do have a lot of different, I have an AI app, but I also have video recorded interviews with accounting recruiters. I do about 10 hours every semester. And so I've been doing that, and the recruiters love it because they say, yeah, Bennett, someone watched your video. They came up and said, oh, I saw you said this. Fantastic. But when it comes to finding work, it's going to be about your hustle, right? What are you going to be doing? It's like you have the CPA license. What are you going to be going through and doing next? But when you're going into an interview with for an accounting job, most firms are going to want to make sure that you can sit for the exam, meaning that you have the 120 bachelor's degree, 24 accounting, 24 business. This is at least in California. What would look better is that if you've passed parts of the CPA exam, because there will be people at that firm that have not passed it. And because it is very, very challenging when you're working full time, it can be rough. Now, what other things can help you in terms of getting a job at an accounting firm? What are you bringing to the table? Do you have clients? Do you have family, friends? Like, can you bring people into that firm, potential client or potential work? How do you leverage your existing network? So I will share with you a very quick story because I have to join another meeting momentarily, which is why I probably should have recorded this later, but that's okay. Student of mine got a job at a accounting firm in downtown LA. One of his college friends is a partner in a Las Vegas office. My friend or my student who was going to be working in downtown LA called his partner friend outside of basically in Nevada, and he ended up being able to get a job at that firm in Orange County. So, hey, if you know somebody that can use your network, people are generally going to be willing to kind of go through and help you. And again, if you're bringing in a lot of former past like work experience, this can also be very beneficial. I would have never hired myself straight out of college. I was a total punk. I would have hired someone like if you're hiring someone that's like has more work experience, they're going to be a lot more serious about when they come into the office. So the other kind of thing to think about this, it is a social job. You're going to be working with others, not only those in your office, but other people. And ultimately, if you're at a firm, you got to go through and be able to go through and to get those clients. So I've helped a lot of my former students that have suffered through my accounting classes along with this journey. It is definitely doable, but again, it's going to really kind of take a lot of different types of factors as you're going through. So I want to thank you for joining me here today. If you have comments, right, this is really important to me, right? So I really, by the way, I appreciate the comments that you say, hey, thank you. This is a great video. That's awesome. Really what I want though is that if you have more specific questions about different topics that I've brought up on this video, please leave those, please leave those comments below. And if you want the homework packets or if you want the Google Sheet, I will leave this in basically the description, but feel free to email me and then I will basically message that back out to you. Have a great day and I look forward to seeing you on future videos. Thank you so much.